Welcome to Vector's Patreon tutorial. The previous section applied the Blender Boolean modifier to Sverchok. This section provides a more general approach to applying modifiers. This will apply to all modifiers, not just Boolean modifiers. Blender objects and Sverchok are interconvertible. You can export the Sverchok mesh as a Blender object. The Mesh Viewer node not only applies the mesh data to Blender, it also continuously binds the Sverchok mesh data to the Blender object. Of course, the Blender object can also be imported into Sverchok again. As you can see, the Sverchok is linked to the Blender object. We can perform programmatic operations on the Blender object while the data is in it. Example, you can add some procedural modifiers manually. Note that the import node requires the Apply Modifier button to be enabled. The node will now import the result of the applied mesh. For convenience, I have created a script node here. You can use it to add a certain modifier to the input object. After turning on Python tooltips in the Settings panel, you can now see the type of each modifier. Enter the type into the first input box. The node will automatically create the corresponding modifier for the object. In order to quickly set the modifier parameters within Sverchok, we can use the Object Set node to set the corresponding parameters. First, you need to copy the path of the parameter. Copy it into the input box of the node. Then just enter a data of the correct type. This way you can operate the modifier entirely from within the Sverchok interface. Note that some parameters require specific keywords to be entered. These keywords can be seen in the info panel. Again, we need to fill in the corresponding parameter paths. At this point, we know that the keyword is sharp. Now we have fixed the specific pattern of the modifier. Then they are packed into groups. And expose the parameters outside the group. Now we have integrated the modifier function into the Sverchok. Even if you change the input geometry differently, the node group also works as expected. I store the script nodes on Patreon and Blender Market. You can support me on these platforms if you need to.